What's up everyone, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, let's talk about a special shop that just added a new Reforged Bonds pack. This is awesome because it gives you one pack for free, and then you can purchase packs by 1,000 up to 3,000. I suggest you to get the free one, of course, and then at least the 1,000 one. It will allow you to select styles that were released up to the end of September of past year. So let's go and get it right now. And there are a lot of other free stuff that will come alongside, even a new promotion rank testament certificate. Okay, with that said, we can now go out to the exchange shop and see the styles that we can select on this list. It's very similar to the 4th anniversary selection with just a little more, I would say. And the video that I made for the past kind of still works here, but we have a little more interesting options. Okay, so we have UDXs and Saga Soul banners before we talk about Romancing Festival, and the only one that is really useful right now is Galahad. If you never got Galahad, and if you have his free style that gives the inheritance called Free Spike, this guy is still very useful, especially if you have Cornelius. So, Ice Cream Galahad is the only one that is still on the top of the game. But there are others that may help you as well. Talking about Saga Soul, we have Medea. If you are a new player and you haven't pulled for any debuff, or Medea can debuff as Chart and Intelligence, she works well for old content, not so well for current ones. Then we have Maria. If you got the latest Maria, you can get some interesting inheritances from this one. At least a heal that can evade. And there is also Epaminondas, because if you got the latest Hannibal that can counter, he has a skill that has 2 attacks and that can trigger his passives more often. Pretty nice. On UDX selection, I would say you can get some utility from Minstrel if you got the latest Minstrel, although Minstrel is hard to use, with Eclat d'Arme. Plus, you can get attack and defense boost to the party, increasing sustain. And if you are thinking about pulling for the next blue that will be released between 1 to 2 months ahead, he benefits from enhanced magic that improves spell damage. Now we should talk about the bigger selection, that is the Romancing Festival selection. And here, the best ones are still the same. I would say the Esper Girl is still a very useful style. She debuffs and applies buff break with a skill that can be used a lot, especially if you have her newest style. There is also Halloween Creator that gives interesting inheritances to his current style and even to a future one. And that comes from this style here. And after Creator, we have Shroud. But Shroud is only if you got the newest one, and you can use his second skill as inheritance that attacks 2 times. Very useful for fights when there are multiple enemies, especially human ones. In many challenges we have used Shroud for very good potential. Then another current meta units, Forneus. You can get Gobi Pull from this version of Forneus, or Tidal Lure from the Monster version. That will give him access to a single target or AoE counter, making him even better. Although he does not taunt with the current style, it still works depending on the formation. There's also Bune that has 2 different inheritances that you can get. If you have the newest one, you can get Purple Haze Coat, keep her defense up and party heat up alongside buffs. Or you can get Sky Convalescence that heals, recovers, revives, and gives 2 BP. Not really important, but very nice to have. And then I think that Hawk has a very nice inheritance from this one called Militant Slash that allows him to attack and enter a counter stance that buffs STR. He also buffs will when attacking. And if you haven't cleared the Megalith Dragon fight yet and you don't have any other counter unit, Hawk is very useful there. Then if you got the latest Princess Ray and you wanna use her together with Saruin, if you select this one here, you can get a strong 3-hit shadow attack. So she can do a lot of damage in those situations. Then there is Saruin. If you got the latest one, it's nice to get Wave of Malice that increases your shadow damage and even VP generation. Besides Saruin, if you got the latest Emperor, the best counter in the game, you can select his Spear style that will give you access to attack that also enters a counter stance and counters with a pretty strong spear attack that will do pierce damage. The current Emperor is about slash, so you are adding a new type of damage to the guy. And then also, one of the best inheritances, Sumir, Christmas style. If you got the latest Sumir, you can now get an extra chase, so she gets up to 6 chases in a fight. This is just slash damage, but it's still very useful because she can stack a lot of damage. Those are the best selections. There's no other one that will be on the top. But then we should talk about the second tier inheritances. And, well, this is probably on alphabetic order. So Aisha has an interesting inheritance if you have her latest style, but you don't have the healer version, because you can use Earth Trust that can apply morale down. If you need sustain on last word remembrance, she can help. Then there is Barbara, and Barbara has a skill called Warn Up that gives her BP. If you have the newest Barbara, she has a need for extra BP because she wants to apply evasion via her skill number 3. So if there's a turn where you don't have BP, use Warn Up to get even more BP. Then besides her, I think that Bertrand can benefit from the Tenebrae Blazes skill. His future style doesn't really need, but it can help since he debuffs intelligence when using this skill. Then there is Ellen. Ellen has Saturn Blade from this style that will give her extra BP generation. If you have the newest Ellen, that can help her keep up with her strong BP needs. Then we have Darius that has Blocking Command. If you have the newest Darius that is support, Blocking Command can be useful, but it's also hard to use. That's why I don't think it's so important. Then we have Impress. There are 2 interesting Impresses. This one here has Dark Moonblade. That is morale down and morale up attack. That also gives action order. It is cheap for 7. The newest one has a 13 BP attack that can give you a defense boost of 35%, but it's an inheritance that can work if you don't have enough BP. But besides that, nothing here matters. The best inheritance is still Global Axe version that can give you Imperial Shield that blocks damage for 1 turn, can be used twice, especially if you have Hannah. Now you can have 4 turns of damage block. The Christmas version can give you a 4 turns defense boost, and it is not so useful if you already have the latest Final Impress anyway. Then there is Human Male, and I think he works well if you are in a need of a counter unit for Megalith Dragon. I beat it with Socho. He is a working character. Then still talking about a counter unit, we can talk about Genie. For clubs, she's better than Fuse, we tested. This Genie here is good because she taunts passively and also with a skill. So if you have Hannah and Maria, you can do this. I use it my Tatiana and also Paulus as a damage dealer, and it did work. So Matriarch can still give you some interesting inheritances, because I believe the 4th one has the heal plus evasion that can still be used in some scenarios, not important, and the Valentine style can still use Pennon of Heartthrob. It gives a lot of effects, hard to use, but only if you have the buffer style, although the damage dealer one can benefit from Pin of Protection or even the buffer one. After Matriarch, we can talk about Melissa. Melissa is probably very useful still, works for Remembrance fights, but you need both Melissas. So if you haven't got this one yet, it can be useful for a long while, since she gives defense boost for 4 turns, can stack 4 times if you have enough BP generation as well. I would say Liz, if you are thinking about skipping the current Liz, you can use the Perfector version as a counter for Megalith Dragon. Besides that, the skill is not so useful moving forward. There is also Perfector Matcha. If you have the newest Matcha, you can use the Saga Magical Tree Inheritance to apply Sundered and increase damage potential of your party. You should also talk about Silver, that has 2 different inheritances that make sense. One is the one that comes from her Global Axe style that has Sun damage. If you have the latest Final Impress, she gives 3 BP when using Sun attack, so you can actually use Silver in Sun squads. There is also the first Silver that will give you Freezing Slash Plus, that gives attack boost, so it is useful when used with 4 news squads as well. Then there is Tatiana that can also be used now on 4 news squads and even trigger her chase attacks if you have the third skill. Not really important, but it does allow her to chase when landing weak attacks versus cold weak enemies. Then we have Goddess. It's not the Goddess that I wanted to suggest, but this Light of Dawn shield can still be theoretically useful in the future. It negates shadow damage for 3 turns. That's incredible if the enemy is focused on shadow attacks. There is also Enya, and Enya has 2 different styles that you can inherit from. And one is Starlight Grace, that gives you an AoE heal with guard up. You are using her latest style. This one can be useful as a panic button. And you can also get the inheritance Etoildor. Her future style will have Etoildor as a chase, so it's not as important if you are thinking about getting that one. Then there's Katarina, that can be useful as an S-Sword user for healing, although she's pretty fragile. If you have the newest Katarina, you can inherit Ice Fox or Ballet for skill defense. Then Mariah, if you have Natalie, Mariah will give you access to Ring of Life that heals and removes debuffs. And if you have the Whale version of Noel's Daughter, you can get Water Festival from the first one. That can still work for members fights if you need. Then if you have Alkaiser, and if you feel like you need extra healing, you can get the Perfector style. That will give you access to an AoE heal plus guard up. And then there is Shira as a counter, although I don't really like this one. It can counter the Megalith Dragon, although you are going to need extra support. The other versions of Shira also help if you have the latest Shiel. She can inherit Black Hole, and she can also inherit the Hymn of the Night Wind from the first one that can give you a fast stun attack. That is useful for farming, nothing else. And then, finishing off, I could say that Time can be a placeholder if you are having difficulty with Club Remembrance. Doesn't really work well with Hana because he casts Guard Up, but if you're not planning to use Hana, it can help you out, since this skill can now be amplified. Well, I guess that's the list, guys. If you think I forgot someone, please say here in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't. Click the like button to help this channel grow, and if you can help via donation, use the links in the description. This channel only survives through donations, and we are very far from the monthly goal. It's really appreciated. But I see you soon in the next video or live stream. Goodbye.